Hi, I'm Maggie. Welcome back to Minds on Mushrooms. This week's episode is a special one. I'm joined by my partner, Angela Doloff, who's been cultivating psilocybin and facilitating for over 10 years now. And we will be introducing something that we've been building together, North Node. North Node is a private educational association aimed at providing more access to education, community, and integration. Let's get on with the show. Hello, welcome back to Minds on Mushrooms. Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Angie.
Hi, Ange.
Should we introduce me? You start.
I mean, we've got a lot to talk about today. So I can't wait to introduce you. But off the bat, I just want to say Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day. Wow. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's a big one.
It is.
I love Earth Day.
Just to get straight into it, but kind of big news in the world of psychedelics this past weekend.
Massive news.
Massive news with Donald Trump signing an executive order, which essentially is calling to kind of expedite research and findings, primarily for Ibogaine first, which I'd like to
funding is going into Ibogaine first. That's correct.
Yes. Was it 50 million?
I think it is 50 million. It's a considerable amount of money.
It's important to talk about Ibogaine because it's a very, very, very powerful medicine. It's from Gabon, Africa.
It is from West Africa. It is from the root of a tabernacle shrub, I believe.
Yes, it's a root
bark, like it's an alkaloid that's extracted from the root bark of a Western African shrub.
And journeying with it, it's medically supervised. I think that there's some, we want to make sure that a lot of heart health is thought. But anyway, it's the only thing that's been working with opioid addiction. And also there's
PTSD.
A lot of hope with PTSD. And I think a lot of this movement was around vets.
100. Yes. I think that is a lot of what brought this to attention is the need for healing in our vet community and the lack of support and the lack of tools out there to help them. And Ibogaine, which has obviously been around forever, used spiritually, mostly by Western Africans for thousands of years, has proven to be extremely beneficial.
Yes. So I think,
and happens to have been illegal here in the United States, which is thanks to this executive order of ending this prohibition, we are going to normalize this conversation.
Yeah. And I think at a certain point, I mean, obviously we need to hold reverence and respect for this medicine. But if you do look at America and the 35 years of this opioid pandemic, and then that's just that. And then the vets too. But anyway, I just wanted to shout out to this amazing documentary on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, it's called In Waves and War.
Yes, it's fabulous.
It does not only a fabulous job of depicting visually an Ibogaine journey, which I believe is kind of similar to a psilocybin experience, but we'll talk about that later. But also, one of the things that I really appreciate about that film is this idea that these vets, obviously the war compounded any pain they had, but at the end of the day, it was about confronting their truths about their childhood.
The trauma that happened before going to war.
Yes. So anyway, all to say, this Ibogaine medicine, I think, is so powerful. And I think the way that it, the way that it's going to unfold, and if true healing is going to happen, there has to be a lot of responsible work around it. And I think that's going to lead into our big announcement. But Angie,
well, it does lead into our big announcement.
It really does. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. I want to introduce properly Angie. I thought I would start just with like 3 fun facts because intros and outros are challenging.
Sounds like we're talking about belly buttons.
I could be. No, just real quick, I would like to do 3 fun facts about you, and then I want us to share kind of how we found each other and why we're here today.
Let's do it.
But one fun fact about Angie, who is now my business partner, but I'm going to say, yeah, Angie is someone who's been cultivating and working with psilocybin for over a decade now.
Yes, I am.
And she has quite the story to share about how these medicines have saved
my life. I'll end that for you.
And then, yeah, moving into fun fact number 2, Angie's brother has been working with and serving ayahuasca.
Yes, he's been facilitating ayahuasca for over 23 years.
Wow.
Yes.
So that's just a little fun fact as well. And third fun fact, Angie may experience a little flush with niacin.
Oh my God.
Or
thanks for warning me about that.
But that's what came to mind.
It's so true.
That's, yeah, niacin stacked with low dose psilocybin microdoses is a whole nother segment.
It works, people.
Oh, Lord. Goodness. No, but I thank you so much for being here and next to me. We have found each other almost 2 years ago, I would say.
Yes, we were connected. I think it's true. It was about 2 years ago we were connected. I don't remember the exact date. It feels like I've known you for a very long time, but I think it was a different season. So it could be more or less. I think it's more actually, but time flies. So
yeah, I mean, I think what brought us together was just, we both had some major, conversation around these mushrooms and how impactful they have been in our lives. But yeah, it was like, what do we do? Well,
we were putting it out there, I think, is what we both had this, like, we were so transformed, I think, and in a society that this wasn't normalized or even really being talked about that much. Maybe underground it was for sure. You and I started to maybe just put out that energy, like, and it's so a friend in common connected us and said, you guys need to meet.
Yes.
You would have some common ground. And sure enough, he was correct. Thank you, Chris.
Yes. Shout out, Chris.
So here we are.
Yes. Well, I think now would be a really special time for you to, open up about how, the medicine has helped you. And it's funny because we were just, before we started filming, just sharing just part of your journey that I had no idea about. And but the thing is, yeah, there's these healing journeys. There's so much, but yeah, you do, or it's helped you health wise. So I don't want you to feel like you have to share the whole thing, but yeah, I mean, just,
I can tell you that I've had a full life, and my life has spread the gamut of lots of love, but lots of pain and lots of trauma at the hands of myself, but also of people who are in a position to heal me or help me. So, and it was through my dis-ease, my sickness as a young child, and I can get more into this, but basically it was this being ill as a kid led me to have to look to people who had in a profession of healing to help me. And I can't say that they didn't help, but they also did some real damage. And it ultimately caused me trauma that I needed to work through, because at their hands, I was,
just guided in wrong directions.
Guided in very wrong directions, and put through some treatments. And we can get into this too, if you'd like, but put through some treatments that caused me, it's almost hard to talk about. So,
right. I know. And so, that's what we were talking before.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and also put you in a situation where you had to figure it out for yourself.
Well,
right?
That's why I'm here. That's why we're here, Maggie, because I decided at some point I broke so much and was able to somehow muster the energy and the desire, not even the desire, I had the desire, but and the energy to pick myself up and say, I think I got to go about this differently, and I need to start taking my power back. And that started with natural medicine that I'd been told was illegal. And, but I was at that point where I would do anything. And so I needed to find something different. And I thought, well, why not? But at the same time, why is something illegal that grows and is given from Mother Nature? And so, we can go down, that's a whole nother path. But yes, I started with ayahuasca. Thank you to my brother. And that led me to mushrooms and cultivating them for myself, which has now led me into where I am today, where I am able to help others and provide them with something that I grow with love and care, and can help others find a path to healing and get their power back and have the tool at their hands, rather than having to let go and relinquish themselves to something that was either made in a pharmacy or in a lab, or feel like they don't have control anymore. I mean, it really, really was about bringing back control, and that I think that in and of itself was healing for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. You did such a beautiful job sharing, and thank you. That's truly what did bring us together, is just these conversations around, how can we continue these conversations, and hope that they land or are heard by the people that need. And I think that for me, I'm constantly saying, I don't have any answers, but I can hold space. Yes. And I think that, I don't, me, much of my day is consumed by these conversations. But that's because we know just how profound, and but with that there's a lot of responsibility. And I think at the very end of the day, the things that we kept coming back to were like, how, for me, it's important, especially with this podcast and having listeners, like, how do I provide more accessible education, community, and integration, right? Which is,
there you have it.
The never ending piece. And we can go to yoga class and we can have a profound realization, and we can either embody that or we can suppress it. But it's conversation around all of the insights, all of the stories, all of the experiences, all of the hardships, all of the light, all of the dark, and transmuting and embodying. And I think ultimately that's kind of North Node.
There you have it, folks. North Node.
Yes.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about that. Good job, Maggie.
Thank you.
So North Node, North Node started a while ago, and we didn't even know what it was, right? Because we were looking for direction for how to bring those things together. Community, education, integration. Where do we do this, and how do we do this safely? How do we do this legally? How do we do this respectfully? And we went down all sorts of paths to try to figure out how to do that.
We did.
We thought about starting a church.
We did. We really did. And, I'm on the board of one. And I think that is one beautiful path, I think. But what I take pride with North Node, really, it's an educational association.
Yes.
And because I think it's all based on the education, and it really is meant to provide a space where exploration can happen intentionally and responsibly, and people can, determine what the medicine means to them. And it is a place of self-discovery. But there's so many modalities to self-discover and inner journey. And the medicine is just one.
It is.
But what's so great is when I think about North Node and just kind of as we evolve and expand, there's so many practices that interweave just beautifully. And whether that's talk therapy or internal family systems or body work
or breath work,
meditation, sound, frequency, all of it. And I think that's so exciting because it's not about, one or the other, right? It's cultivating. And I think that's what community does too. And so I'm just really thrilled that you are a part of this exploration. And for me, I would just like to touch on kind of the meaning of North Node.
Let's talk on it.
So just, I had learned that North Node in astrology, we all have a North Node and a South Node. And there's an online calculator where you can figure yours out. But essentially, it helped me to kind of understand, I guess, your South Node represents your past and what you're kind of like outgrowing and what you need to shift. And your North Node is kind of like your North Star, your guided path, because the attributes and characteristics of your North Node are things that you can try and embody and supposedly will help you evolve. And for me, I'll just share. But I am South Node Pisces, so escapism. I like to float. I don't, I'm in water floating. My North Node is Virgo. And what I'm comprehending is the more structure, routine, just kind of order, I'll get places. And I know that sounds so trivial, right? But it's just one little attribute that when I'm feeling lost or, like I'm wanting to escape, I try, what is it? Like what's triggering that?
What's triggering that?
And so it's helped me just a little, but in combination with just astrology in general, human design, but it's this idea that we all kind of have this, it's a path back to our inner light. We can kind of find the way. And so I just wanted to share that.
Well, I love that. And I think you should break out that calculator for me right now because I want to know what I am. I actually have never done it, Maggie. But when you did bring up North Node as the name of this association, I was all in because not only do I trust where you're coming from and believe in that. And after that, your beautiful explanation, which you've given me slightly before, is North for me has always felt like home for so many things, for so many reasons, figuratively and literally. I mean, I live in the North. I always have. I'm a Northern child. My North Star.
Yes.
I'm always been told, point your toes north. Just my grandfather was like, just point your toes north. Yeah. And for him, that meant put the right foot forward or whatever. But for me, that resonated so much as well. And to have our URLB Explore North Node is everything. Everything. It's words are not going to explain. It's everything. It's perfect. It resonates. It's real. And so there you have it.
Well, thank you, darling. I really do love the idea around exploration. I think we are all deserving to explore our inner landscapes. But yeah, I think this association is just, in my view, a responsible way to kind of go about this work and the idea of free will and but just being very responsible and transparent and with it's a new day. And I think the biggest thing with the announcement this weekend, not only was it shocking, but it to me, I think there's a lot of people in the space that are worried because, what is this? How does this translate? And what's fair and pharma
or what's a psychedelic? I mean, some people are probably asking that question.
So there's so much, to figure out, right? But I think what feels really good in my body is I just am so thankful, to hold space as a practitioner. And I'm really, whoever, if it's Trump, and we have varying opinions, but for me, I'm just grateful that there's attention being given and that there's hope. And I think it's just such a moving of the needle, and just, I just keep thinking like prohibition is crumbling. Like that's how,
yes.
And
it is.
Yes.
It has.
Yeah. So it's great timing. And I think that North Node exists because I think with it are a lot of questions. And I think,
many questions.
And it's not even questions about psychedelics necessarily. That's a huge part.
That too.
But the whole, I think there's this overall shift where people are learning that little things like taking pause, keeping regulated, trying to learn about why we react the way we do. And I just had a blow up this morning. Sorry, May. But, I just think that there's a lot of people there's a lot of questions out there. And I love, I just couldn't personally be just happier to, have North Node and continue to grow it and hold space for all of the conversations and all of these experiences and explorations.
I'm excited too, Maggie. I think that we've always talked about this organic growth and being patient and letting it come. And I think that we've come so far already. I feel that way anyway. And I'm just so excited for what this will naturally evolve into. And again, to just reiterate what you just said, I feel there is no time like the present to work in this space to help answer questions and to hold people's hands and to continue to converse about this, because it is so incredibly exciting and because it can be kind of scary, all of it. And that's because, not knowing or not understanding or let even just down to the brass tacks of like, I'm scared to do it because I'm scared of what's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to cover all of it, but there's so much there and it's so exciting. And I just am so excited to do this with you. I can't even tell you.
Cheers, hon. It's just a never ending conversation. It truly is. And, every day and every week is really exciting. And we've got some exciting events coming up that we can touch on. But it just feels like right place, right time. But just truly, wanting to help.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I mean, everyone keeps talking about how these are unprecedented times and everything's so crazy. And yes, we can talk about all of that, but really it's also very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also not so crazy. And I think when we start doing that internal work and we start realizing how very simple it can be to just hold space, to look at ourselves from the inside, I think there's going to be a big shift in this world. And I don't think it's going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited.
Yes. My certification program is called Third Wave. It was a great program, wonderful program. But I'm talking about this because the program director, Paul Austin, he says we are in the third wave of this psychedelic kind of renaissance. So the first would have been tens of thousands of years ago, ancient civilizations, practicing or working with this medicine. And then the second wave was the 50s and 60s.
The Nixon era. Whew.
Yep. And now we are in the third wave with the resurgence and hopefully where science and spirit are meeting. I don't know. But I feel like more and more in the mainstream media, and people are voicing their opinion around, yes, the Nixon era, trying to take these medicines away due to the fact they knew that it would help us.
Yeah, they did know. There had been proof,
Yes.
studies done at universities.
Yes.
And they cold turkey stopped it. And I think it had a lot to do with going to war. And the hippies who were associated with these drugs, so to speak, and people not wanting to do what the government wanted. And so there was a prohibition of basically all of these natural medicines.
Yeah. And I mean, I think to me, that's been pretty clear. I feel it's interesting to me that the stigma, I think we're getting places, but that did a number. And, it's very, so unfair. And
we were both raised under the guise that these things were horrible and they killed people and they were addictive and all the stuff.
You jump off of balconies.
And they couldn't have been more incorrect.
And then you wonder, we don't need to revisit, but yeah, it's just interesting.
That was the second wave. Let's just put that behind us.
Yes.
Maggie, tell me about this panel that you get to be a part of. But I really want to understand more about what the panel is. How did it come about? Yes.
I was invited by Coalition 9, which is a community based of, I would say, kind of like your professional executive leader types who are continuously wanting to learn how to become the best leaders and professionals. And so there's been a lot of interest and curiosity around microdosing and psychedelics. So it's a panel. It's myself and a therapist, Dr. Mosher, who he's the therapist of therapists, and then Aaron of Coalition 9, who's kind of putting it all together. And it's in mid-May, and I'll provide the specifics. But I'm super excited because North Node is going to be represented, and just the amount of curiosity and Aaron keeps talking about that. This is pretty exciting for people, and it really is a lot of it. The whole mission of this experience is education. So really kind of talking about microdosing, allowing people to ask questions.
Right.
Because there's so many questions.
Back to that, there's so many questions. There really, truly are.
So I'm super excited for that. And then I'm also starting around the same time in mid-May. I'm offering an outdoor series, Microdose, which is really it's about exploring and celebrating plant medicine in nature and in the arts. And we are really lucky because we've been getting sponsors, and the product that will be provided at these outdoor adventures is a low dose cannabis gummy, which is legal. And but of course, we'll have conversation around psychedelics and just, again, trying to get outside, take pause, turn this off, turn the mind off, and soak it up with community, the sun, nature, and medicine.
I love that, Maggie. I think we're going to be having a lot more to offer. So stay tuned for even more announcements.
Absolutely. Yes.
Coming your way.
Yes. We have a lot to talk about. And, I'm just real excited to have you next to me to do it.
Thank you, Maggie.
Yes.
more to come, you guys. This is so exciting. I mean, I may look like I'm calm right now, but inside I am so excited. I feel like I did over the announcement on Saturday when the live.
Yeah, you were doing cartwheels. I
was.
Yeah, that's funny. You had called. I think I was in the middle of lucid dreaming. But anyway, when you called,
because it was early Saturday morning. Yes.
Yeah, at 8 a.m. Anyway, it was funny.
I shocked you.
Yeah, but
I was so excited. I had to share it immediately with you. I mean, the joy of
Yes. I think I'm LOLing because I'm like, I couldn't figure out how I would turn it on, because to watch the news these days is very different for streaming people. So I'm like,
right.
Like, I don't know how. Anyway, it was, I think for me, it was very serendipitous. And of course, Joe Rogan was a huge part of it, which, he really did represent these vets that need it so very much. So anyway, it's interesting times, exciting times. But yeah, it feels real good to just be in the space and be here to help.
Agreed, Maggie. Cheers.
Cheers, and take care, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Here's to more.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Minds on Mushrooms. For more information on North Node and to explore our services and offerings, please check out explorenorthnode.com, where you can book a free alignment call and check out all we have to offer. Thank you.